I might be a politician for a few years just so I can get the money up, and then I can just use that money to spend on getting the radio station up.
Louis Morehouse has big plans for his future. He lost his sight as a toddler because of cancer, but at this school in Bradford he's thriving. This isn't the school his parents initially planned for him to attend though. They wanted him to join his brother at a local high school, but say they were told the resources needed couldn't be provided.
I think it's funding. They assume that a visually impaired child is extremely
needy.
and will sap resource. I think it's ignorance. I think it's and it's quite scary.
I know there's other people who will have their children go to a school they don't want them to because they don't know how to fight.
John Colleen's been a head teacher for 25 years. He feels strongly about inclusion, but says some schools do indeed struggle with money and says it's got worse.
When a child was allocated a statement, depending on the degree of need, the school automatically got extra funding. Now the school is expected from its main budget to meet the needs of a large percentage of children with special educational needs. It's very hard for schools and school leaders to meet the needs of children who may come in mid-year.
From last year, each mainstream school gets a special educational needs or SEN budget from the local authority. From that, the government expects it to fund the first £6,000 of resources for each child with a statement of SEN. But when a school has higher than average numbers of such children, some school leaders say there's a shortfall and it's not easy to get extra funding.
Well, can we make that amount of money available?
In Lincolnshire, the council's been explaining government reforms for September, replacing statements with a single plan for education, health and care, personal budgets for families.
There's been some myths all around the country that we've heard of from parents saying things like this is trying to reduce statements, this is trying to take money out of the system, it's a cost-cutting exercise. And hopefully today we've been able to reassure parents that this is about taking a system that is often service-orientated and making it into a child-centred system.
Many here were optimistic, but some felt pressure on schools is a problem.
The levels of attainment that they have to achieve, and if they have too many special needs children in their school, they may not attain the figures that they have to. Therefore, do we really want to be known as a school that looks after special needs children in a mainstream school?
There's no incentive for schools to do well within special educational needs. I do feel there's a drive now for schools to be more selective.
Most in the education system have worked for that inclusion to be successful.
So it's unfortunate in a way that it comes down to money a lot of the time.
It always does, but special educational needs going forward is no different.
Government ministers say it is.
They insist reforms will make funding clearer and fairer, and there'll be an extra £100 million for preparations. They say it's up to councils to ensure children's needs are met, and that schools need to be accessible for children with special educational needs.
It puts you off arguing because it's a big system that you're arguing against. It's very difficult. You have to see what your rights are and challenge for it.
Emma Wilkinson, ITV News.